Many people believe they are making careful decisions. They compare options. They evaluate risk. They choose what feels reasonable. Nothing feels forced. Nothing feels irrational. Nothing feels externally imposed. And yet, over time, the shape of their life remains almost identical. Not because they refuse to choose, but because certain choices never fully form. In highly stable systems, decision-making appears active. There is analysis. There is reflection. There is deliberation. But most of it happens inside a narrow perimeter. The perimeter is rarely visible. It does not announce itself. It does not prohibit anything explicitly. It simply defines what feels realistic. An option does not need to be blocked to disappear. It only needs to feel slightly misaligned. Too risky, too premature, too inconsistent with current responsibilities. Not impossible, just unnecessary. And what feels unnecessary slowly stops appearing as an option at all. This is how filtering works inside coherent systems. The system does not argue with you. It does not resist loudly. It does not create visible tension. It pre-selects what counts as reasonable. Everything else fades before it becomes a serious consideration. From the inside, this feels like maturity, like prudence, like disciplined thinking. You are not reacting impulsively. You are not chasing instability. You are not abandoning structure. You are simply choosing what makes sense. And that is precisely why nothing changes. Intelligence strengthens this mechanism. Intelligence is designed to reduce ambiguity, to resolve contradictions, to restore coherence quickly. When a possibility introduces uncertainty, intelligence does not ignore it. It evaluates it, and then it often classifies it as inefficient. This classification feels objective, measured, calm. There is no drama in it. No fear. No obvious avoidance. Just a quiet conclusion that this path does not fit. And so it dissolves. Over time, something subtle happens. The range of imaginable futures narrows, not because opportunities vanish, but because fewer of them survive initial filtering. The system has become highly effective at preserving stability. It rewards alignment. It rewards continuity. It rewards predictability. And it quietly eliminates volatility before it becomes visible. You still experience choice, but it is curated choice. You still evaluate alternatives, but they are alternatives that fit inside the current structure. Anything that would require structural reconfiguration rarely feels compelling enough to pursue, not because it is dangerous, but because it does not integrate smoothly. This is why effort does not necessarily lead to expansion. You can become more disciplined, more focused, more strategic, and yet remain within the same perimeter, because the perimeter is not maintained by laziness. It is maintained by coherence. In stable systems, friction is minimized quickly. If something introduces discomfort, the system works to reinterpret it. It reframes uncertainty as unnecessary exposure. It reframes volatility as avoidable risk. It reframes deviation as inconsistency. This is not self-sabotage. It is system maintenance. The most powerful constraints are the ones that feel reasonable. If a door is locked, you notice it. If a door simply never appears, you do not question its absence. Highly coherent lives tend to remove doors before you reach them. There is nothing to resist and nothing to rebel against, nothing to fight, only continuity. From the outside, observers may see stability, consistency, reliability. From the inside, you experience clarity. You know why you choose what you choose. You can justify each decision. There is no obvious error to correct. And without error, there is no urgency. This is where stagnation becomes almost invisible. Not because nothing is happening, but because everything that happens reinforces the same pattern. Small improvements occur, refinements are made, processes become more efficient, but the structural range remains intact. The question is not whether you are choosing carefully. The question is how many possibilities never reach the stage of careful consideration. How many directions dissolve before they feel serious? How many impulses are interpreted as misalignment rather than information? In coherent systems, alignment becomes the highest value. Alignment with identity, alignment with current lifestyle, alignment with previous decisions. Anything that disrupts that alignment must justify itself intensely. Most possibilities cannot meet that threshold, so they disappear quietly. This is why nothing dramatic announces the problem. There is no collapse, no crisis, no visible failure. There is only repetition, different circumstances, same structural response, different opportunities, same filtration. Over years, this pattern becomes indistinguishable from personality. You believe this is simply who you are, someone stable, someone consistent, someone measured. And perhaps that is true. But it is also true that the system you inhabit decides long before you feel like you are deciding. This is the quiet mechanism behind many forms of stalled growth. Not incompetence, not fear, not lack of ambition, but pre-selection, a narrowing that occurs before awareness. A system can function perfectly and still filter out the conditions required for expansion. It can preserve balance while removing exposure. It can protect coherence while eliminating volatility. And it can do all of this without you ever feeling restricted. Nothing is prohibited. Nothing is forcibly removed. It simply never becomes an option. When that is the case, the issue is not whether you are choosing correctly. The issue is whether you are choosing from a complete field. And in highly stable systems, the field is often smaller than it appears. Not because the world is limited, but because your structure has already decided what belongs inside it. Nothing is broken. The system works. It works exactly as designed, and it quietly selects a future that looks almost identical to the present.